When you watch any good player, as the club approaches the ball, the club is not in line with the lead arm, the left arm for right-handed golfers. It doesn't catch up until impact. Now, when the club is trailing the left arm, it's said to be lagging. So this idea of attaining club head lag is critical for power in shots. Not only is it critical for power, but it's also critical for allowing the club to catch the ball or catch the ground at the right point. So as the club's swinging down, the angle between the shaft and the left arm is going to open up. We want it to be completely open or straight at impact, and then after impact the club will keep going, and again it's out of line. Now we need to find the timing of that to be able to have the club meet the ball correctly, and as I said earlier, to get power. First thing I want to talk about is keeping your wrists and keeping your arms soft. Now there's a difference between keeping them soft and keeping them loose. So loose, the fingers are likely to open, no control. Soft means that the fingers stay closed, but there's plenty of freedom for movement. And in fact, as I move the club back and through, it's moving into line and out of line with my left arm. If I hold the club in my fingertips and move my arm backwards and forwards, the club moves into and out of line with my left arm. That's the principle that we want to work with in order to allow the club to lag and then catch up to the lead arm at the correct time in the swing. So if at the start, my hands and arms are soft, if I start my swing but have my wrists really loose, the club head is actually the last thing that moves. Now as I continue my backswing movement, at some point the club head builds its own momentum and it will catch up and swing past my arm, and that's hinging the wrists. So as I'm going back, I'm using momentum to allow my wrists to hinge in the backswing. So that's the backswing movement. When you first do this, it's going to feel like you're giving up control of the movement. But if we watch from side on, when I make that same movement, the club actually swings on the correct path. So I'm not trying to make it swing on the correct path with my wrists or with my arms. All I'm doing is letting my body turn. Bear in mind I'm exaggerating here, but letting my body turn and letting the club be dragged back to the top of the swing. When I get to the top of the swing and change direction with my body, the club still wants to go backwards. And it's only when my body changes direction that eventually the club head changes direction. So I'm not trying to make the club head change direction first. If I do, I'm in big trouble. I'm not going to hit the ball well. And I'm certainly not going to be able to deliver very much power to the ball. So if I do this slowly, I let my body work, drag the club back to the top of the swing, change direction and turn through, eventually the club, under its own momentum, will catch up with my arms. So if I do this really slowly, and the important thing here is to keep the arms soft, keep the wrists soft as you go back and through. Body turns back and body turns through. Now I need to find the timing so the club doesn't come into line with my arm too early, nor does it come into line too late. It's only likely to come in too late if I try and hold tension in my arms or try and hold my wrists bent. Don't want to do that. But if I let them work freely, I can find the timing of getting the club to catch up with my arms at the correct time. Now my body has to continue moving in order to be able to get the timing of this right. So in those practice swings there, they were slow, but the movement was continuous. Once I've got a feel for doing that at low speed, then I can build up the speed. I want to retain the softness, but I want to build the speed. So if I move a little bit faster, same idea, drag back, drag down and through, I've got that same sense of lag. Practice that movement. Notice where the club strikes the ground. A couple of key points that you might notice. If the club hits the ground too early, it's either your body is likely to have stopped turning or your hands have been too active. The most common error is for the club to get to the ground too early. If you happen to top the ball, hit the ball thin, it can be the same error. So the club actually gets to its lowest point in the swing too early, again because the body has stalled or because the hands have activated the movement. So that thin shot or the fat shot are both a result of the same cause. So again, arms soft, turn back, turn through, continuous motion, and then let the club find the ground, let the club find the ball. As I mentioned with the backswing movement, it's going to feel like you're really giving up control when you do this. Give it a practice, low speeds first, then build up the speed, and you'll be surprised how much more distance you can gain when you do that.